Duggar recalls how her family's modest dressing rules affected TLC group photo shoots. For many families, the idea of being featured on national television might seem like a dream come true, a chance to share life, values, and personal stories with a wide audience. But for Duggar, one of the 19 children in the famously large Duggar family from Arkansas, that dream came with challenges, especially when it came to modesty and how her family dressed during photo shoots for the reality show *100 Day Miracle* and its follow-up series. While the Duggars were already well known from their earlier show *19 Kids and Counting*, which aired on TLC from 2008 to 2015, the newer program offered a fresh start and new opportunities for public scrutiny. As part of the reboot, the Duggar parents, Jim, Bob, and Michelle, wanted to emphasize their commitment to faith, family, and traditional values. A key component of that identity was modest dress, something that shaped every aspect of their lives, including media appearances. In interviews over the years, Duggar has reflected on how these strict clothing rules affected group photo shoots for the network, particularly in terms of wardrobe choices, comfort, and the tension between personal expression and family expectations. From a young age, Duggar and her siblings were taught that modesty wasn't just about covering up. It was about humility, respect, and prioritizing inner character over outward appearance. This philosophy extended into every aspect of their daily lives, including how they dressed for church, school, and even professional photo sessions. The Duggar family's modesty standards were heavily influenced by the teachings of Bill Gothard, a conservative Christian leader whose Institute in Basic Life Principles, IBLP, had a significant impact on the family's worldview. According to these teachings, women should avoid drawing attention to themselves through clothing, which meant no sleeveless tops, short skirts, or tight-fitting garments. During the production of *100 Day Miracle*, this belief system played a direct role in how the Duggar women, including Duggar, were expected to dress for camera. PT. In an interview on the *Very Duggar* podcast, Duggar recalled the logistical difficulties of trying to coordinate outfits for large group photos while adhering to the family's modesty guidelines. With so many people involved, often the entire family of 21, finding clothes that met both the aesthetic needs of the shoot and the family standards could be a daunting task. It was always a balancing act, Duggar explained. We wanted to look put together and match as a family, but we also had very specific rules about what we could wear. Everything had to be long-sleeved, high-necked, and at least knee-length. For some of the more formal shoots, that made things even harder. Because the Duggars rarely bought brand-name clothing and preferred homemade or second-hand options. Finding appropriate attire for every child became a time-consuming process. Michelle Duggar, who sewed many of the girls' dresses herself, often had to create custom outfits for each photo shoot. Mom would start planning weeks in advance, Duggar said. She'd go through our closets, pull out potential outfits, and sometimes make entirely new dresses if nothing worked. It was exhausting, but she really wanted us all to look unified. As Duggar grew older, she began to feel the weight of those expectations more acutely. While she appreciated the emphasis on modesty and humility, she also felt the pressure of not being able to express her own personality through fashion. I loved wearing pretty clothes, she admitted. But I couldn't choose what I wanted. Everything had to fit within the family standards. Sometimes I'd see other girls my age wearing fun patterns or trendy styles, and I'd wonder what it would be like to have that kind of freedom. This internal conflict became more pronounced during group photo shoots, where the Duggars were often placed in stylized settings designed to showcase their unique lifestyle. Duggar noted that while the producers tried to accommodate the family's values, there were still moments of friction. There were times when the photographer would suggest something more fashionable, maybe a sleeveless dress or a shorter hemline, and we'd have to politely decline, she said. It wasn't about being difficult, it was just who we were. But I think it did affect how we were perceived by viewers. Despite the Duggars' efforts to remain true to their beliefs, the family faced criticism from both inside and outside the Christian community. Some praised them for standing firm in their convictions, while others accused them of being overly controlling or outdated. Duggar acknowledged that the scrutiny intensified during the 100-day miracle era, especially after the family had taken a break from the spotlight following controversies involving her brother Josh. In this context, the photo shoots weren't just about capturing memories, they were part of a broader effort to rehabilitate the family's image. We were trying to show that we were still committed to our values, but also that we were growing and learning, Duggar said. But because of how we dressed, people would jump to conclusions. They'd assume we were oppressed or not allowed to make our own decisions. That hurt. Even small wardrobe choices were analyzed online. Fans and critics alike debated whether certain necklines were too low or whether sleeves were truly long enough. Duggar described how surreal it felt to see strangers dissecting her outfit. It was weird seeing people comment on how you looked when you didn't even get to choose your clothes, she said. You're trying to do what your parents believe is right, and then suddenly you're getting criticized for it by people who don't know your story. Over time, Duggar began to distance herself from some of the stricter elements of her upbringing, including the rigid modesty standards. After marrying Jeremy Vuolo, a former soccer player turned musician, she started making her own fashion choices, ones that still honored her values but allowed for more personal expression. In her memoir, Get Out of Your Head, published in 2020, Duggar opened up about her journey towards self-acceptance and autonomy. She credited her husband with helping her see that modesty didn't have to mean sacrificing style or individuality. He helped me understand that dressing modestly doesn't mean you have to hide who you are, she wrote. I can still honor my values while feeling confident and comfortable in what I wear. This shift has been evident in her social media presence, where she occasionally shares fashion tips and outfit ideas that reflect her evolving sense of style. Though she remains committed to modesty, she now chooses her own clothes, something she never had the opportunity to do during her time on TV. Looking back on her experiences with group photo shoots and the modesty rules that governed them, Duggar says she feels a mix of gratitude and reflection. I'm grateful for the values I was raised with, she said. They taught me discipline, humility, and the importance of putting God first. But I've also learned that everyone's journey is different. What worked for my family may not work for someone else, and that's okay. She also expressed empathy for her younger self, the girl who stood in front of the camera wondering if her clothes were modest enough or if she was hiding too much. I wish I could tell that version of myself that it's okay to be seen, she said. That you don't have to erase yourself to please others. And that confidence comes from within, not from how covered up you are. Duggar's reflections on her family's modesty rules and how they impacted TLC group photo shoots offer a window into the complexities of growing up in a highly visible, deeply religious household. While the experience brought challenges, from wardrobe limitations to public judgment, it also laid the foundation for her eventual journey toward independence and self-discovery. Today, Duggar continues to advocate for mental health awareness, personal growth, and healthy relationships, themes that resonate far beyond the world of reality TV. And though her views on modesty have evolved, she remains proud of her roots and the lessons they taught her. In the end, the photo shoots, once sources of stress and discomfort, have become symbols of resilience. They remind her of where she came from, how far she's come, and the courage it takes to step into the light on your own terms.